We see this across traditions, across spiritual traditions. In the Jewish tradition, which is my ancestral tradition, in the book of Genesis, Bereshit, in the first book, it says, B'Tselem Elohim, it says that we are made in the image of God. It's the same exact thing. We are Satchidananda, we are Brahma. It's the central idea in the beginning. That man, the Atman, is equal to Brahma. The wave in the ocean, same.
Can I ask something about that? Does that like apply to everyone, even if they don't believe in that?
Yes. According to Vedanta, this has nothing to do with belief.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the scientists are saying the same thing now. They're saying everything is energy, and even the quantum physicists are looking into consciousness. They're understanding consciousness, and so it's not a belief-based thing. But certainly, if you believe in it and you're orienting your mind towards it, you're going to get closer to experiencing reality as it is. But also from the perspective of yoga, because this is your nature, it's who you actually are, whether you believe in it or not in this life, in 10 lives or 100 lives, you're getting pulled towards knowledge of the self. Like it's like you cannot escape what you are. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that it has to come through this path. It can come from any way. This is just one system. This system does not own reality. This is just my path, and there are many ways that you can wake up and realize this truth.
What would you say are the other paths?
What's that?
What would you say are other paths?
Are different.
Oh,
Is
yeah. Well, there's the Tibetan Buddhist path. There's the Jewish tradition, which is my ancestral tradition. There are Christian mystics. I met an amazing Christian mystic. He passed away, Father Thomas Keating. Maybe I'll tell that story one time. He was like, he was a monk, Benedictine monk, I think. And I have a whole story. I didn't know he was famous, and I happened to meet him. And then we ended up talking about meditation, and he was asking about Amma. And he was really like an enlightened being from that. And so many traditions.
Shamanic?
In Mexico, Central South America, there's very strong spiritual traditions. Maybe Esmeralda knows something about it. Yeah. So, yeah, it could come from anywhere.
It can come from like pain or trauma. Some people can wake up.
Yeah. And a beautiful example of that is Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
You know, he was very depressed, like very, very depressed. Basically, he had a very miserable life for his whole childhood and young adult life. And then, and if other people know the story, correct me if I get it wrong, but he was kind of at this point of a breakdown, basically. And he said to himself, I can't live with myself anymore. And in that moment, he realized there was an I that couldn't live with a myself. And he was suddenly like, well, who is the I that can't live with... The myself is the mind. Who is the I that can't live with the mind? And in that moment, he kind of realized there was this I, this pure consciousness. And then I think like the next morning, he was hearing the birds outside. And
He had some like transformative experience or something,
Yeah.
and then went to sleep. Yeah.
Went to sleep and woke up in like a state of pure consciousness. Now, I believe somebody like Eckhart Tolle was one of these fruits like rotting on the tree and just fell. We don't know how many lifetimes, because I believe in reincarnation, and they say that we take many, many births until we're ripe and awakened. So he was probably, from my perspective, had many lives as a yogi, and was just burning the last bit of the karma, and just had this awakening. My point is, I wouldn't expect that to happen to you. It could. If it happens to you, I hope it happens to you. I hope you wake up tomorrow. Or I hope you take a nap this afternoon and wake up and then you will change places. But these kinds of things are quite rare that I hear. But yes, it can happen. I had a teacher in university, because I studied this in university for 5 years, and one of my teachers told me about some guy who attained realization in prison. Some horrible things happened to him in there, some traumas, and he ended up realizing he wasn't the body. Yeah. So yes, it can happen anyway. So it's important to understand, so we're going to the next one. So the sensation of
Very
neediness.
short recap of the last one because I got a little bit lost.
Yes. Okay, so first of all, we're going to answer our deepest questions. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we get? We get the bliss of the knowledge. And that knowledge is what I was saying, that our true nature, we're originally blessed. Instead of original sin, we're originally blessed. We are Satchidananda. So the bliss of the knowledge, prapti means something that we acquire. So we're acquiring knowledge of our true identity, which is so beautiful, so wonderful. The Satchidananda. Are you ready for number 3?
Yes.
And then coming to number 3, cessation of neediness. Now, I feel neediness. I feel like, I don't know, I need something sometimes, right? We all feel like, I don't feel like, I believe I'm Satchidananda, but I don't always feel, sometimes I'm like, hey, can I have a foot massage, right? I need something, I'm saying that
Often we feel like, oh, let me have a little treat, a little food, or so it comes up in so many different ways. I need to speak to a friend,
Oh, you need to loo.
Well, yes, but I think on a deeper level, some people believe a partner will fulfill them.
Mm.
This is a big one. A partner will fulfill me. Children will give me purpose and fulfill me. A career will give me purpose or fulfill me. There's some big ones. The foot massage is a small thing. But the big ones are the bigger problem. These ones that actually think that my self-identity and self-worth is lacking unless I get something outside of myself. Right?
So I'm not complete.
I'm not complete. That's the neediness. So this is saying when you get the knowledge that you are God, that you are Satchidananda, what does that mean? You're complete. You're full. You don't need anything. If you meet a wonderful partner, it's just a bonus. If you have children, it's just a bonus. If you have a great career, it's just a bonus. If none of those things happen, it also doesn't matter. Yeah. It's funny, one of Swamis was giving a talk, and because he travels a lot, and so all over the world, and when he goes, the people tell him all their problems, like he's Amma's representative. And he said, some people cry to me because they don't have children, and then others cry to me because they have children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes, children aren't always a source of happiness. Some examples are your child could become a heroin addict and steal all your furniture to sell it and your TV.
Yeah, or they could die from alcoholism or
Yeah, or they could die young, or they could be a wonderful child and they die young and that becomes a trauma. So it's just, so this comes to, there's a word called Vishayananda. So this is, so Satchidananda, this Ananda is what we really are, the bliss of God. Vishayananda are the worldly pleasures, the pleasures we get from the senses and also the pleasure we get from a partner or family members, friends, a child. All of these things, including people and pets, I'm super attached to my dog. I'm gonna be heartbroken when he leaves his body. All of these are conditional pleasures bound by time and space. Everything you love is temporary and bound by time and space. It's impermanent. Yes, good.
I have a question about reincarnation. So, do you always reincarnate as a human, or like?
No.
Could you like reincarnate as a dog,
Yes.
for example, and you come back
Yeah.
as someone?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that later, but human birth is considered the highest because our nervous system and spinal cord, the way it is basically it's the only vehicle, like the body is a vehicle or a vessel, that can attain enlightenment, that can hold that kind of energy in a body, is what they say. So this is the only vessel that can attain realization. Realization means realize that we are God. Because my dog is also God. It's also God backwards, dog. But it said that the animals cannot attain this realization in their body. It's only human beings. So this is the best vehicle to have. But some people can, from a human, go back to an animal, and it would be considered like a demo, what's the opposite of promotion?
A downgrade.
regression. Yeah, regression. Yeah.
Oh yeah, regression or demotion. Yeah, it would be kind of considered a demotion.
Would it be from like creating a lot of karma in your lifetime that you might go back
Yeah,
as an animal?
yes, so like the laws of karma and these kind of things, almost said only enlightened beings can understand this. But yeah, it would be like you were a person who, let's be honest, I love my dog incredibly. But if you've ever seen wild dogs on the street, like in India or something, they're just about, me, my territory. So if you can imagine a person behaving that, some people are just I, me, and mine at any cost. So if you live your life in that mentality, maybe you're born as a street dog in India, and then you're 24/7 fighting for survival. But I don't have the answers to these questions. Right. But the main thing is that Tim's question, yes, you could be born as an animal. And the idea is that is like from a bacteria, we take many births to a human, and then many human births. And it says that it takes thousands of births and lots of grace just to be interested in spiritual teachings. Because most people just are not interested in this. They're just like, I'm just interested in, making money, eating, sleeping. Some people are just in survival mode, a lot of people in the world, just trying to survive. And then some people are just into pleasure, seeking pleasure. And then the other aspect to this is that if you're relying on things outside of yourself, we're still on number 3. If you're relying on things outside of yourself for happiness and security, and all of these things are fundamentally impermanent, unstable, unpredictable, that leads to anxiety. So the idea is that when you understand very clearly, there's nothing wrong with having a partner, having children, these are all normal things. It's just your understanding of them. Like you have to understand that all of this is impermanent. Your job, you could be fired or the company could go out of business, right? It's not permanent. The partner could leave you or get sick and die or have an accident, tragedy. Same with the children. It's just an understanding that you cannot find any stability in the outside world. And then even within our own body, we don't have stability. We can get sick. Yeah, we can get sick. Our mind is changing. It's basically saying the only thing that's dependable and reliable is God, which is your true self. Mm-hmm. And as long as you have this neediness and you're looking for security and happiness outside of the Atman, you won't have it. You'll only have it temporarily. So Swami Paramesh, who I learned this from, he said, if you want temporary happiness, then you can seek it in the world. But if you want permanent happiness, you have to seek it within. Like Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within. The kingdom of God is not without. So you can enjoy the world, you can enjoy the figs, enjoy the partner, enjoy the holiday, the dog. Just know none of this is permanent, including the body. The body is a rented house. We have to move out someday. And you might be thinking, oh, but I love my body, it's so wonderful. Great. But one day, it won't feel so great. The body, even the enjoyment in the body won't last. My dad is 88. I can tell you he's not enjoying the body anymore. Even Cristiano Ronaldo, as fit as he is, one day he's going to say, oh God, this body doesn't feel good anymore. I'm not having fun anymore in this body. It's all bound by time and space. And this,
material.
Yeah, I mean, really, no matter how experienced you are as a yogi, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, if you're not focusing on this aspect of what is permanent and impermanent, you're not really practicing yoga. This is kind of like where the rubber meets the road, as we say in America. Mm-hmm. This is like knowledge is considered in the yoga tradition. Vidya is knowledge of what is permanent, and ignorance is identification with what is temporary. This is the essence of everything here. And where this goes to is freedom from stress, anxiety, and depression. When you really get it into your being that you understand everything is temporary, this leads to a detachment. We talk about this contraction. It leads to this. I mean, obviously, we're going to have grief when we lose the things we love. We cannot escape that. But we get the shock absorber. Mm-hmm. It won't hit us as hard. When my dog dies, I'm going to be heartbroken, but I'm going to be better off than most people because I understand it was just temporary. I mean, everybody understands it's temporary.
Well, and we also understand, if I may interrupt, that he returns back to source, his source energy. He is the divine, right? It's not like the end of him. Mm. So we have this understanding.
And I've experienced this, a lot. I had family members, die when I was quite young, and then I worked in a hospital. In oncology, with cancer patients, with an ICU. So I've seen how both how people, when they're dying, if they're not prepared, what they go through, and I would say even more so the family members. Because what happens a lot when people are dying is a lot of them, even if they didn't have a spiritual path, like they kind of start to experience God and they kind of get it. A lot of people, just automatically. They start to break free, like the Atman starts to break free from the physical body. You know, like a lot of people get it. But the family members, if they don't have any sort of spiritual background, oh my God, I mean, because they experience this complete lack of control. They can do nothing. The loved one is dying. And so this is very practical knowledge. Like this is a real thing that when you have this knowledge, you get the shock absorber. There's still a shock, but there's suspension. Yeah, so we'll just go right into this one. So, life is just naturally a mix of pleasurable experiences and painful ones. And there are situations like death of a loved one or a pet, that are just completely out of our control. We don't have control over anything outside of ourselves. When we're driving on the road, we have no control of the other drivers. We can only accept situations and try to deal with them with clarity and bravery. And the impact of these things can be reduced by this knowledge. So, there's, maybe I'll write this down later too. There's this method in Vedanta. We're doing it already. You're already practicing the method, the technique. Shravana, listening. Manana, reflecting, like working it out in the mind. So you're hearing the teaching. Then the manana is discussing, reflecting. And then nididhyasana is applying it, in bringing it, and also meditating on it means. So you hear the teaching, you contemplate it, you discuss it, you think about it, and then you let it kind of program you, is the last part. You let it change, you let it affect your behavior, you let it affect your mind. Do you understand the three parts? So Shravana, hearing, Manana, reflecting, contemplating, and then nididhyasana is like absorbing it.
It's like eating. You digest and you.
Yes. The last part, the nididhyasana, is digesting and receiving the nutrition that is affecting now how you are relating to the world.
It's a bit like thought, word, and deed. That's a Christian thing, isn't it?
It sounds exactly like it, basically. Yeah.
You're hearing it, and you're discussing it, and processing it.
Yeah.
And then you're doing it.
Yeah. And it's important to understand because if you study Tattva Bodha Gita, it's not like you're not reading a book. You understand? You're receiving this unbroken knowledge of the Guru Parampara. So you can't just hear it. You need to reflect upon it, and then apply it to life, to live it.
That's why it takes 2 years to read the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, and actually, so Yogananda, Paramahamsa Yogananda, he has a 2-volume Bhagavad Gita. Have you seen it? Yeah. He did a huge commentary on it. These 2 big volumes. And in it, he talks about how his guru, the famous Sri Yukteswar was his name, he would only allow Yogananda to have one shloka, one verse of the Gita at a time. And Yogananda was saying, why are we going so slow? And he said, it has to go into your atoms. He says, I won't let you go to the next one until this one is in your atoms. That's what he said.
Well, and if you have like 100 or 1,000 rebirths, then you've got all the time.
Yes.
That's true. There's I just feel like maybe it would be helpful to hear this. Cognitive behavioral therapy or theory talks about how your thoughts inform your feelings, which inform your actions. But in a lot of times, like as a therapist, if you're working with a certain group of people, you might try to expedite that to change something practical. And what's missing is the letting it infuse into your atoms, right? And like the deep processing, the deep like internalization of what you're gaining, what you're learning, the realization,
Yeah.
I should say, right?
I think the problem is today everybody wants everything fast.
Yeah.
Fast food, fast internet, fast.
Less measures.
Fast pleasures, fast
Fast
travel.
change.
Yeah. At the supermarket, we don't want to wait in line. We want to go to automatic
Yeah.
checkout. That's that. Even I'm doing that. And I saw it, and that's what I'm bringing to the West, because I see with the Yoga Alliance stuff and a lot of things, not just them, but a lot of the ways that spirituality is taught in the West, especially my tradition, it's fast.
Yeah.
It won't work as well. It won't work. This is my opinion. Of course, I'm not the master, but my opinion is this takes time, and it needs to get into the cells. And if you go fast, in a way, there can be benefits, but it can also lead to a kind of ignorance. Because if you get fast,
Addiction.
or also you think you learned everything, maybe, but actually you missed all this, all the whole process and a lot of things, yeah.
Doesn't it like contradict the stillness thing too? Like for me, if I'm moving fast or doing things fast, like it's much harder to come back to stillness when I want to.
Yeah, it's too much movement, too much rajas, too much speed, too much value, too much bhakti.
Yeah.
On that note, let's take a little break and then we'll come back to finish. We finish at 10:30, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.